Paul said, where are we shopping, Poundland or Harrods? Well, that, sir, is the question that I don't have the answer to. We will talk about what we're going to be shopping for. We'll get to that in a second, Paul, my man. But yeah, I don't know, mate. What's middle ground in England, by the way? Because I know over here I'd say like Little or Aldi versus Marks and Spencer's, but I don't know what the middle ground would be in the UK. Well, let's talk about it all. Let's start off with a report. Anfield Buzz posted this up earlier on, Credit and Football Insider. And it kind of, to some extent, I can stand over this, but there's one aspect of it that I'm not 100% certain of, but I want to get your opinion on it. So, according to Footy Insider, Liverpool are planning to strengthen Arne Slot's squad in January to help him clinch the 20th league title. The Reds are looking at a new midfielder and a new fullback. And that makes sense. I mean, I think we can all sit here and say the idea of Liverpool looking at a midfielder and a fullback makes sense. But there's something around this that I have to call out, if I may. And I'm calling out Carragher on this one yet again because I think how do I say this? On TV in America, Jamie Carragher has said something that I know, you know, and he certainly has to know is not going to be the case. So I want to read it out to you. He was speaking about our left-back situation and who he thinks Liverpool are going to move for. And he speaks about Robinson of Fulham. This is what he said. He was outstanding. He was the best player on the pitch. When you're going to Anfield and you're playing against Mo Salah, possibly the best player in the Premier League this season, and you come out of it with a Man of the Match award, that shows how highly he's thought of. This is the part that I have a problem with. Yes, I think Liverpool probably will be shopping for a left back in January, and I'm sure he'll be top of the list. He won't be on the list. Nowhere near the list. Carragher knows this. I know this. David Lynch knows this. Everybody else knows this. Liverpool Football Club will not be going into the market to sign a player who's going to turn 28 in his next birthday to come in to replace Robbo or Costas. It isn't going to happen. And Carragher knows this. So, I don't know if he's over there trying to placate American viewers or blow smoke up their backside or something, but there's absolutely no chance, and many journalists that we've interacted with have told us this, that it's going to be Robinson. None. Zero. So why is he saying it? Because if I know it, and David Lynch knows it, and other journalists know it, he has to know it. So why is he saying it? He knows damn well we ain't signing Robinson, because it would be a huge move away from the way we do transfers. And we aren't bringing in a left back that's about to turn 28. Not a chance. So why is he doing it? Him and Neville have just been saying some stuff lately that just doesn't make sense. You know, Neville, as little as a day and a half ago, was still predicting Arsenal to win the league and go on this run that, you know, Arsenal can go with all the runs they want, but Neville needs to realise we're not going to just fall away. Like, the lack of fucking respect is mental. I like Harrod on CBS, said Kieran. Well, if he's going on CBS and saying that, he's lying to people. Because he knows that's not the case. And he knows that he won't be top of the shopping list in January. Because anybody with any ounce of cop on knows that Liverpool won't sign a left back that's going to be 28. One that's older than Costas and a little bit younger than Robbo. And the problem we have is that our great left back is getting a bit old. So why bring in a 28-year-old one? It would just be mental. Well, the midfield situation is an interesting one. Because when speaking with David Lynch in today's video, I'd said to him, like, would you agree that we need to bring in a midfielder in January? That we can't let it go past January because it's running the risk? And he would agree with that. So if we're looking at January as the time to bring in the midfielder, it gets interesting to try and figure out who that might be. Because I haven't got a clue. You know, we can throw names around like Ederson today. I asked David Lynch again about Ederson because Fabrizio Romano mentioned that Liverpool were scouting Ederson, had sent scouts over to look at him again and again. And David Lynch said to me straight out, every time he brings the name Ederson up to any of his sources or anybody he speaks about, no interest. It's not a name that's ever been given any encouragement. So I don't know where Romano's going with that one, because I believe that to be the case. Because even when Kloppo was here and I was trying to push to find information on Ederson, I was getting the cold shoulder on the name every time I was speaking to everybody about it. So, you know, these are people who are far better connected than I am saying, No, not on the list. So, again, I think people are just pulling a fast one at the minute. And, you know, I don't know who that's going to be, by the way. Samuel Ricci, maybe. Baleba, maybe. I guess the problem with Baleba would be you'd have to pay a pretty hefty fee to get him out. Someone said Atlanta won't sell Ederson in January. He's in the title race. Again, mate, agree, but also there's no interest there from us by the looks of it. Cherky will fit perfectly. How? Like, do please explain that one to me, because I asked David Lynch about this as well earlier on. I don't see how Cherky makes any sense in January for a couple of reasons. One, we don't have space. Two, I don't know if we have any need to spend the type of money to bring him in a position we don't need to really fill at this moment in my eyes. You know, you can agree on a certain amount of things. That one, right profile, absolutely understand that. Right age bracket, talented enough, but we just don't need him. And I'm even seeing journalists now, while writing their stories, kind of, again, surprising themselves by going, why are we constantly being linked to attacking players when that's not a position that we need to fill? Like, our front line's boxed off. When Mo signs his contract, you know, we're golden. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Federico Chiesa long term, but for now, we've got 6 and Jayden Danns. There's just no space for Cherky. So yeah, I don't know on that one. Like, speaking with David about it, I mean, I think it's coming from the French side a lot, because Lyon need to free up money, because they could be relegated because of the financial trouble that they're in. So they need to free up money. So I think maybe throwing Liverpool's name in for Cherky, a player who I've no doubt we've looked at and are monitoring, but I just don't think it's the right timing for that transfer to happen. Wharton of Palace is an interesting shout, Jonesy lad. Weirdly though, the club I've seen most linked to Adam Wharton is Manchester City, but I think the plan there was to look at him in the summertime. Now, I don't know if Manchester City have pushed forward those plans because they're in dire need to bring in bodies in January, and particularly a midfielder, but I think it would take a pretty hefty fee. And what we also did get confirmation of, by the way, on Zubamendi, not that we needed it, was that release clause is still active in his contract. The sporting director of Sociedad said that himself. So it's not going to be that it's not down to the player. It's 100% down to Zubamendi what he wants to do here. If he wants to come to Liverpool or anywhere else, all you have to do is say yes, and then somebody can trigger the clause. But it feels like he's not going to be moving in January. And with that in mind, that's why we asked the poll question tonight. Is it January or never for Zubamendi to join Liverpool? We've already had over 1,000 votes, but I'm going to let it go a little bit longer because I know there's more people coming in that haven't had a chance to vote yet. Stephen said, Bournemouth are 5th. Why would they sell Kirkes? Because money makes the world go round, Stephen. And again, I never once said we're signing Kirkes in January, mate. I don't know when we sign a left back. For me, ironically, I think we can do without a left back till next summer. I really feel that way, because Costas and Robbo, between them, can do the job. But look, let's be honest about it. Bournemouth are flying high right now, but they're not going to be that way forever, I don't think. And Hughes negotiated that deal to bring him in there. So I think maybe sometimes people need to look at Richard Hughes now and give him a tad bit more credit than before, because he's brought that player in to Bournemouth, so he clearly has the ability to spot a player and bring them in. We just want him to start doing that for Liverpool. But I don't know if we get a left back in January. I really don't. I haven't got a clue. Gomez at left back is a shout. Yeah, exactly. Very good point, Jobo. We could absolutely utilise Joe Gomez at left back. So we've basically got 3 options there. 3 options on the right if Trent's around and you include Gomez and Bradley. So for me, you'd almost be getting to the argument of just trying to figure out what's going on with Kwanzaa, and is it a centre-back that we might need to bring in alongside the midfielder. But I've said this for a few weeks now. If we get a midfielder in January, that's good enough for me until the summer where maybe we reassess. But if we don't get a midfielder in January, I feel like we won't have learned any lessons from seasons gone by where these things have cost us longer term. If we get all these contracts signed this window, do you think anybody else will come in, said Gareth Barr? My gut feeling is yes. Really, my gut feeling is we will do business in January. I don't think we're going to lose anybody senior in January. Maybe a couple of loans or whatever. But yeah, I really do feel like, because look at it as what's the outcome if we don't? You know, let's say Gravenberch gets injured or fatigued, but let's say injured, and let's say that happens February, March, where you're getting to the nitty gritty of everything, Champions League, Premier League. You risk potentially undoing all the hard work that you've done to get to this position where you maybe top the Champions League format. You're currently top of the Premier League with a little bit of a cushion. You risk all of that over not bringing in a midfielder who suits the system. Now, I should also caveat that by saying there's no guarantee that any midfielder you do bring in would seamlessly just stroll into the team and play like they've been there all their life. You know, different players acclimatise differently, different speeds. But I think it gives us a chance, because we've rolled the dice before. Sometimes we've gotten away with it, other times we haven't. This, to me, will give us a good indication of how hungry the club really are for success. That's my take on the January window. I'm not looking for the sun, moon and stars, but what needs to be done, in my opinion, needs to be done.